Good evening, everyone. Today is day 25 of my 90-day video blog challenge. And today I was sitting actually watching the History Channel. They have these little, I guess you can call them little blurbs because they're only like 2, maybe 3 minutes long, even less than that. Some of them are like a minute and a half, whatever. And everything had to deal with Black history. So they were going through telling the history of different things from Jackie Robinson to Harriet Tubman to Du Bois to Frederick Douglass, just a whole slew of them. So I ended up watching all of them. And as I'm sitting there watching all of it, it's just like something inside of me is really, one, very proud, and two, very angry. And the reason I say I'm angry is because I look at how things are done now. I look at how our people are now, and we are nothing like they used to be. Our situation may have gotten better in one sense, but it's gotten so much worse in the other. And I remember getting into it a little bit with my sister, a little debate about it, because I told her that sometimes I sit back and wonder, are we actually better off now that we are desegregated? Because when we were segregated, when there was that separation, the Black community was very united. They are very tied together. You had a lot of community involvement. The churches actually did things. It wasn't a matter of just getting together and worship. The churches actually, they were the centerpieces of the community. So the community looked to the churches, and they held meetings and organized and all these things that happen at these churches. And the churches, they don't really do much for people anymore. Yeah, you pass out foods, but you get the food from other people, like Forgotten Harvest and things like that, to pass out to the people in the community. And don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting that, or I'm not saying anything wrong against it. It's just that the churches nowadays are nothing in comparison to what they used to be and what they represented back in the day. They represented so much more back in the day than they do now. So me and my sister, we had discussions on that too, like some of the things that the church could do. A lot of people don't realize, but if you own property, whatever church is around you, you're actually paying their taxes. So you would think that they would have things, like maybe to where they have resources or things like that to where you can go and get your taxes done, or they will have some kind of programs, or they will allow you to have meetings, or whatever the case may be, anything to unite the community in which they are built on or standing within. And then the other thing is there are so many of them, it's ridiculous. Like just in my little block, I just did my square block, okay, just 4x4 main streets, that's it. So probably about a mile each way. So just a 1 mile square. Okay. I counted, 8 churches just in that. And that's not even counting what's on the other side of the street. It's just that 1 by 1 block. Just 1 mile by 1 mile by 1. Like I said, 8 churches. That makes no sense. And all of y'all are doing different things, and nobody is doing anything for the community. Nobody's standing up for the community. But going back to my original thought, which was that, when things were segregated, Black people as a whole were just so much more united. They would tell stories, or I hear stories about how they would travel down to the South, and if you ended up on the roads, the people, they didn't like being on the roads. So you can go knock on the door of somebody else who's Black, and guess what? They will let you stay the night. Why? Because that's just how they were. They were united at that time. I'm not saying crime didn't exist, but it wasn't anything like it was now as far as the Black on Black crime. And so we've lost that. And part of it, I do believe, is education. Because I heard someone once say that, education is the cornerstone to improvement. You want to improve your community, you want to improve your state, you want to improve the economic status in which, the country is in, then invest in education. Because educated people do things better. So an educated person will treat their house better because they understand this where they dwell, regardless of whether they own it or not, whether they're renting, leasing, whatever the case may be. They're going to treat it with a different type of respect just because of the fact that they're living in it. It comes from the old saying, you don't shit where you sleep. And a lot of our people actually do that. They tear up the houses that they're in and like, oh, well, I'll just move someplace else. Well, you're living there now. So you're going to live in a rat hole because you can just pick up and move someplace else and then turn that into a rat hole, and then move someplace else and then turn that into a rat hole. And then with the whole fact that America has become so individualistic, it just drives me crazy sometimes how individualistic we are. We don't look at things as a whole. We don't look at things, in the future. We look at right now and our position. That's it. What about me? What about me? I deserve this. I need this. I want this. And it's that self-gratification and that individualistic just thought pattern that keeps us where we are. And so, like with black people, that mentality where, okay, well, I want it, I'm gonna go out and get it. So you will get this $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car while you're living in a $10,000 shack or sleeping on the couch in your parents' basement. But you got a nice car that's gonna be repoed in about, 2, 3, 4 months, because you can't really afford to keep it. And that mentality just makes no sense whatsoever. And that's where they believe that, the more educated you are, the better choices that you will make. So instead of investing in that $40,000, $50,000 car that you can't keep, why not just get a place of your own? Why not get a car that you can pay cash for right now and just drive around until you can afford a car note or get a job with a car note? Little things like that, just like thinking ahead. And, America as a whole, we're just too individualistic and too materialistic. We look and we dumbify ourselves every day watching these programs. Like, the more and more these reality shows come out, the more disgusted I am, actually, because I'm just looking at it as just dumbifying Americans, and they just don't even realize it. You're spending more time on what somebody else is doing and less time on what's going on in your own home. So instead of fixing what's going on in your own house, you still talking about the basketball wives and what they doing and what they need to do. And you have all these opinions on them. But when it comes down to your own house, you don't have a slightest clue as to how to fix it. And it really hurts my soul. It really hurts my soul, and it really pisses me off. And so tonight, I just wanted to share that in honor of Black History Month. Learn something. Just learn something. Stand up for something. Even if it ain't nothing but, something simple like a traffic violation, whatever the case may be. Stop rolling over for everything. And just learn something. God, I can't stress that enough. The world is so full of so many different things that you can actually learn about. You can learn something new every minute of every hour of every day and still have stuff new to learn, because in everything that changes and with so many things out there that you can learn, it's like it's vast. There's no end to it. And the variety of what you can learn about is just mind-blowing. It's like trying to read every book in the main library. Try doing that one day. And if you don't know what our main library looks like here, I'm sure you have one wherever you are. That main library for your state or your city, whatever, that houses so many books and from so many years and generations and the thoughts that people have. And I guess it's because I'm a writer too. I understand that sometimes what you write comes to you is not necessarily what you thought up directly. It could come to you in different ways, a vision, a dream, whatever the case may be. And you sit there and you describe it, or you go into it, or it just develops from things that you are attracted to or encountered throughout your life. Like, for example, me and my herbs. I like herbs, and I'm trying to learn more about them on my own. And the more I'm learning about it, the more I'm putting things together, the more I'm thinking, this would be good for other people to know too. So guess what? I think it's going to end up being a book too. And it has nothing to do with the things that I'm writing now, which are fiction. So just do something new and use Black History Month to just learn something new. Even if you just start out with the things that our people have contributed to this world. Then start out with that, but just do something. Get up, learn something, educate yourself, make yourself better, and stop watching them reality shows so that they can take them off of TV. Because you guys don't watch them, they'll take them off. Viewer's choice. That's where it comes from. Like MTV. How are you going to be music television? You don't play music. It's all reality shows. Drives me crazy. But anyway. That's just my own thought. So some people might not be happy with this vlog, but hey, these were my thoughts, and this is how I feel at this moment. So I figured I'd share it. And I went way over what I normally do. So, but I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful night and learn something new. Good night.